Hey guys, it's Sahil, and we often characterize the best chess games as the one with the best moves, but sometimes the best games are the ones which popularize the game the most. And that's why I think this game by Anish Giri is one of his amazing ones because he not only defeated the world champion, but with his interesting style of play and his amazing character, he also managed to spread the game across the internet and make it popular. So this is the game we look at right now. This is from the Magnus Carlsen chess tour, and it is a very interesting game. And if you're here for the first time, do subscribe to the channel, guys. It helps us to come up with videos every day. So let's begin with the game. Magnus here has the white pieces and he begins with 1d4. So now Giri replies with knight f6, c4, e6, knight f3, d5, and knight c3. And now here bishop e7 would lead to the queen's gambit declined, which is a solid position for black, but Giri replies with the Ragozin defense, which is bishop b4. This has a similar structure to the Nimzo-Indian, and definitely this is going to be an interesting game. So now c takes d5, e takes d5, bishop f4. And now we play knight to e4. So white has tried to develop his queenside bishop. So that means that a move like, let's say, bishop d2 would be ridiculous here. And black is trying to take advantage of that. This spin is definitely not so comfortable for white. So white responds with rook c1. And now knight c6, developing pieces, knight d2. So finally, breaking the pin. And now black replies with a very interesting idea. So g5. And this move kind of opens up black's king. So of course, castling is possible, but it's not completely safe for black now. But I think he gains a lot of things as well in this position, and we'll try to look at how. So bishop e3, knight takes, pawn takes, bishop a3, gaining a very important tempo, rook b1, and now f5. So this is a very interesting idea with the idea of trapping the white bishop with f4, and Magnus plays g3. So now bishop d6, again with the same idea. And now here, rook to g1. This is another interesting idea by Carlsen. So if black were to play f4, pawn takes, and white would just capture on f4, takes, and now e3. So opening up the queen's diagonal to h5, and with the rook's file open, black's king will be under fire here. I think white has sufficient compensation for the piece. So Giri calmly, simply castled. And now h4. So the position is opening up. It's very dynamic. So f4 takes and g4. This is very interesting position. And after rook b5, knight e7. So you can see white has this extra pawn on f4. Of course, it can be captured at any point, but also has a purpose for black that it makes the bishop bad. So in fact, in this case, sometimes I think instead of capturing the pawn, just controlling the f5 square is actually more beneficial to black rather than just capturing the pawn back. So now f5, that's why white sacrifices it immediately. And black in turn does not capture it immediately. He just plays h5. So bishop g5, c6, rook b2. The rook goes back, of course, and rook takes f5. This position is very interesting. White's king is, of course, in the center. Both rooks have moved. No chance of castling now. So this will be a very interesting game. And it is even more interesting after Magnus's next move, e4. Now black sacrifices an exchange, takes, and now Giri plays knight g6, threatening to just capture on g5. This is turning out to be very interesting. So e5, bishop f8, bishop d3, and now knight to f4. And you see this knight is excellently placed near the white king, by the way. So it's not so easy for white to decide what to do with this king now. And now knight f1, queen takes g5. The queen is coming into play. If you're going for an attack, get your queen close to your opponent's king. So f3, knight takes d3 check, which was just a blunder by white. I think in this position, a move like knight e3, just bringing the knight into play, having some safety around your king would have been better for Carlsen. But he blundered with the move f3, which is not so surprising because after all, this position is so complicated and his king is in the center under fire for many of black's pieces. So knight takes, queen c1 check, king f2, and just queen takes b2. And after knight d2, bishop f5. So this is another interesting idea because, of course, white has to decide. He captures, and now queen takes d2. So even though black's king is not entirely safe, I think in this case, it's white's king who is suffering. First of all, black has an extra piece, and of course, this g pawn saves black from any sort of attack. And after king g3, queen takes c3, just pinning this pawn, not allowing white to capture. King h4, trying, still trying, queen takes d4, rook g3, and now bishop g7, keeping the king protected, and now preparing the final move, rook f8. So f4 was played, and now just rook f8, kind of almost trapping the queen. The queen can, of course, give a check here, but it doesn't mean anything after a move like king h7. And now everything is falling for white. His king is, of course, in some sort of self-mating net. And here Carlsen resigned in this game, and Giri went on to win this round against Magnus Carlsen. And after the round, he danced on live stream, and he kind of did the shh as well, responding to Carlsen. These things actually make the game more popular because they create a dynamism in some sort of over-the-board politics, which is, of course, appealing to many chess fans. And that's why I think such elements are very, very beneficial to the game. And players like Giri definitely create a very funny atmosphere, a very endearing atmosphere around the game, and that's why we should definitely follow them and, of course, learn from them as well. So this was Giri's best game, at least the recent best game that I have seen, and it was just amazing to follow this game. And Carlsen, of course, lost in his own event, which cannot be so beneficial to him, and that's why we see this funny banter going on between both these players consistently, and it's a lot of fun to watch. So thank you for watching the video, guys. If you like it, do like and subscribe, and check out other content on the channel. We have plenty of interesting videos to choose from, and as always, do take care.